All right, number 3. Offense is the enemy's strategy to pull you out of God's house, to pull you out of loyalty. Offense, it's the enemy's strategy, right? I tell you what, offense has emptied more churches than atheism ever will, right? Offense has broken more relationships than sin itself. Why? Because offense feels justified, right? It feels personal. It feels like, yeah, I have a reason to leave, right? Maybe you're offended at the message that I'm giving today. But here's something to think about the next time you're offended. And it's a question I ask myself. Just because I'm offended doesn't mean I'm right. And just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. Amen? Offense is the enemy's strategy. Biblical example, the church at Corinth, all right? So Paul established the church at Corinth, but they were a messy, immature, drama-filled group of believers, right? But Paul, man, he stayed committed to them, teaching them, loving them. So interesting, back in November, I got a chance to travel to Greece, and I actually went to Corinth, right? And I got to see some of the sites where I saw where Paul came into port there in Corinth and where he left, and a whole bunch of other sites. But interestingly enough, when Paul planted that church in Corinth, do you know that that was the longest he stayed at any one church to plant it? He stayed 18 months there, about 18 months, and that's the longest time, probably because like the people were a complete mess, right? And they were pretty drama-filled, and if you knew the culture of Corinth at the time, it was not good, okay? But he always, he had just a real heart for the people of Corinth, right? It's probably why he wrote 1st and 2nd Corinthians, right? Because he's like, all right, I'm not done. I need a follow-up, right? Because he had to spend a lot of time. There was a lot of division in the church, a lot of conflict, a lot of pride, a lot of offense, right? But the crazy thing is that the church at Corinth was exploding in growth and strong leaders and supernatural things were happening, but they were just so immature and they were constantly fighting and getting offended. They struggled with comparison and cliques and pride and sexual sin and jealousy and doctrinal confusion and favoritism and unforgiveness. Does that sound like the church of today? Maybe. But the church at Corinth, every time they started building that unity, offense came in to just knock it down, right? And so this is why Paul, when he wrote to the church at Corinth, he opens up the letter immediately addressing the division, right? So, if it's in the Bible, it means probably that one of the enemy's greatest tactics in the church today is to cause offense and division.